We're now just going to look at a couple examples of solving a quadratic equation when we have to do a little bit of rewriting first. Okay, so notice that we have a quadratic equation here and there's no b term. Or in other words, there's no x term, right? There's just 3x squared and negative 48. Okay, so the first thing we want to do here is to understand that when there is no b term, we can solve this by finding square roots. Okay, and so what we can do here is we want this to look like basically x squared equals c, right, where c is just a constant. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to add 48 to each side first to get 3x squared equals 48. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is divide both sides by 3 to isolate my x squared. So I know that 3 divided by 3 will cancel that out. Okay, and I'll be left off now with x squared equals 16. Okay, and now, because I know that 16 is a positive number, when I take the square root of both sides, I know that I'm actually going to have two answers here. So my final answer will be x equals plus or minus 4. Okay, so there are two solutions to this. Now remember, we could have also solved this by what we learned last chapter, right? We could have taken out a greatest common factor, so we could take out a 3, okay? And we'd be left off now with x squared minus 16 equals 0, right? We then recognize this as the difference of two squares pattern. If we multiply to negative 16 and add to 0, that's a positive 4 and a negative 4. So we then get 3 times x plus 4 times x minus 4 equals 0, okay? And then again, we'd set each factor equal to 0, and then solve to get x equals negative 4 and x equals positive 4. Okay, so again, two different ways that we can solve that, and I want you guys to actually know both. Okay, so let's take another look here. Okay, so at this point, a little bit more complicated here, but I think we can handle it. I'm going to go and start by trying to take this positive 120, and I'm going to subtract the 120 from both sides here. Okay, and that's actually going to give me negative 6x squared equals negative 150. Okay, now from here, I am now going to try to isolate x squared. I'm going to do that by dividing both sides by negative 6. Okay, and so again, this will cross that out, and I'll now have x squared is going to be equal to whatever 150 divided by 6 is, which I don't know offhand, so I'm just going to do a little division here. 6 goes into 15. Let's see, we'll go in twice for 12. I'll have 3 left over. 6 goes into 35 times, so it looks like 25. Okay, and then at this point, again, I know that this is going to have two solutions because 25 is a positive number. So if I take the square root of both sides, I will get that x equals plus or minus 5. Okay, and obviously we can plug either positive 5 or negative 5 back into our equation to actually see that it is true. Okay, again, at this point we should feel nice and comfortable. We should have our notes taken so that we're ready to ask the appropriate questions in class.